You call that radio?
You call that radio?
Going back to the people who hated on me.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant that knocks it out in a minute. That's mad, isn't it?
Is this a Netflix thing?
It's actually a podcast.
What the fuck's a podcast?
You know, it's kind of like a radio show.
Oh, that! Radio!
Yeah.
Just popped in there.
And is there a way we can do something like that?
I couldn't help it.
By injection
It just
inside
popped in there.
Yeah, I think so because I think just paint in general because I think like my poem is in my painting.
No, cut.
The cat, what did you do?
Good evening and welcome to You Call That Radio Television. Tonight we've got the legendary Mungo's Hi-Fi and the legendary Marina P live from Paris. I'm excited about this one, and I've had a haircut as well, especially for it. If you're watching this on Facebook, then don't, because knowing Facebook and how much they like to throw us off the air for the slightest bit of copyright infringement, there is some sample-based music. Warning that there may be some sample-based music appearing, so you should get yourself to youtube.com/You Call That Radio, or go to twitch.tv/You Call That Radio. They just seem a wee bit more reasonable than Facebook has been. Facebook tried. Well, they did ban us for 30 days, and then they apologised and said they didn't mean it. But I'm still raging. So, go to YouTube or Twitch, please, if you can. Tonight, we have Mungo's Hi-Fi, Marina P. It's quite a strange day. I was just watching the news there about Manchester. We're talking about Scottish independence on this show, but maybe it's going to be the year that Manchester finally gets independence from England as well. We'll probably not be talking about it. We're going to be talking about music and how Mungo's Hi-Fi and Marina P got together, and the sound system that Mungo's Hi-Fi and the whole scene that they've created and been part of. So, hit the share button and let's welcome them onto the show with a round of applause.
You call that radio?
Fucking radio.
Here to tell people that we hear you. One God will not allow.
You call that radio?
However you want to see it.
You call that radio?
You call that radio.
However you want to see it, that's kind of part of the fun.
Powered by our patrons.
Brothers and sisters.
We are indeed powered by our Patreons, completely powered by our Patreons. We don't have any funding because I don't know how to fill out forms. We don't have any adverts or sponsorship. It's all down at the Patreon, so thank you to everyone supporting it, especially the new Patreon, Randy, who signed up last night. So if you can afford a couple of £1 a month to help us build this thing, we'd really appreciate it. And the website is finished. So I'm looking forward to launching that in the next couple of days so that you can, and you've seen it. And that means that we're going to have a backstage area in the website, which means we can give more bonus things, perks, bonus material as a thank you to all the patrons who are supporting this show. It's appreciated. I'm excited because we should be able to go live to Paris. Marina, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
And
hello.
Yes, slight delay. And we've got Tom. How you doing?
Hello, Mark. Good to see you. Thanks for having us on.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. We're trying to get you on for a while, as you know.
Yeah.
Because the album, well, obviously, it was only a matter of time before I invited you on anyway, Tom. But I've just been loving the album. You had obviously collaborated and made Soul Radio, which released in August. And I've just been loving playing it. I mean, how is this album, how did it come to fruition and how much work went into it?
Well, we started recording together a long time ago, and not with an album in mind, but just recording tracks gradually. And then we started to realize we had a body of material that was starting to get towards an album. So we, Marina came over to Glasgow a few times for some recording sessions, and we just made some more tunes from there.
And Marina, how did you enjoy your trips to Glasgow?
I loved stay. I've been in Glasgow a few times because we met like more than 15 years ago, I think. And I always had a great time. And it's always for night.
15 years ago. How did that come about?
Almost. I think.
How did that happen?
I think we met in through MySpace, through some French friends that asked me for that plate, and then decided to send it to Mungo because it was built on their original rhythm, Belisca. And from that plate, they decided to release the track with me, Divorce all'Italienne, like in 2006 or 7. So it's been a long time.
The MySpace days. Do you know, I was actually trying to find a blog I wrote on the Wayback Machine earlier today because we're building the website, and my friend who's helping with me was going, Mark, you should put up the old blogs you used to do in MySpace. They'd be funny to read back. But I think MySpace has deleted all the music in the blogs. Someone hit a wrong button. So I was trying to find it on the Wayback Machine, but I didn't have any luck so far. But I mean, I suppose MySpace, it was a simpler time, MySpace, and it was quite a good way of just new artists coming together and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was. And it was around the same time that we started using SoulSeek as well to find reggae tunes that we couldn't get hold of on vinyl.
It's and obviously on a SoulSeek as a peer-to-peer. All the tunes are in SoulSeek, basically all the hard to get tunes.
Yeah.
Some of the tunes have been recorded quite long ago. Some are the newest we made were built in a different way. I started from recording the vocals, and then Tom built the rhythm behind that, and it was a nice experience too.
And I mean, the whole so are some of these recordings from the album? What's the oldest recording that's on this album?
I guess it's Divorce all'Italienne, which we recorded in probably 2005.
Amazing, man! It's just so from 2005, and now it's 2020. You must both just be excited that it's finally out there. And what's the kind of the feedback been like? Because I was on YouTube earlier on today. I mean, just the YouTube video alone, it's on 100,000 plays, which is incredible. And it just looks like there's lots of people all around the world are really enjoying this piece of work.
Yeah, the feedback's been really good for it. We were a little bit. We were wondering how this album would go down because it's got quite a few kind of home listening tracks on it. Not all the tracks are really like high energy dancing tracks. And I think it seemed that lockdown was actually quite a good time to release this kind of album. There's lots of stuff you can listen to at home.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's well, I mean, obviously,
it was.
Yeah, on you go, Marina.
It was the right moment. It was the right moment for this kind of sound. We've been lucky, unlucky, and lucky at the same time.
Well, that is the thing, I suppose, as well. Is that the sad thing is that obviously when you've got an album launch, one of the most exciting bits is, playing the album launch party and touring it around. So obviously you've not been able to do that. But I think it was a good move because I think people need new music, and it's quite disheartening to see lots of artists, holding on to their albums and waiting for live music to return, because the people need their music just now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's what we're going to do is, for people that maybe you call that radio viewers who aren't aware of your music, we'll start with Marina. What tune would you like us to play?
The inspiration for the album, I didn't understand. I'm sorry.
All right, sorry, no. We'll get to the inspiration for the album in a minute. I just thought we'll play a song from the album. So, just what song would you like us to play from the album?
The song I would like to hear is Mama's Right.
And could you just, and to introduce this song, could you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, it was recorded on a Mungo's rhythm. YT is already a very nice tune on that rhythm. And I absolutely love that rhythm, and I'm very happy of that song. That means a lot to me. And if you want to check the video on YouTube as well, I like it a lot, with some nice footages from all these American documentaries. And it's a nice story. It's a song I always like to listen, even if it's already quite, old. I mean, we recorded like 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old. It's not one of the newest, but I still love that tune a lot.
It's amazing, absolute classic off the new album Soul Radio.
Mama didn't wanna see me walking with you. Mama didn't wanna see me talking to you. She said you're lazy, you will drive me crazy. You will let me with a baby, you will let me all alone. Well, Mama was right. So when you see we are come, you better run, run, run. You better run, run, run. Yes, Mama was right. So when you see we are come, you better run, run, run. You better run, run, run. Don't come again in my neighborhood. All my brothers know that you're no good, and all my sisters know that you're a fool. So don't come again in my neighborhood, and don't come again in my yard. That situation's gonna fall. Mama got a gun and a car. You better don't come again, or she said you're lazy. You will drive me crazy. You will let me with a baby. You will let me all alone. Well, Mama was right. So when you see we are come, you better run, run, run. You better run, run, run. Yes, Mama was right. So when you see we are come, you better run, run, run. You better run, run, run. My mama didn't wanna see me chatting to you. My mama didn't wanna see me listen to you. She said you're lazy, one you drive me crazy. You will let me with a baby, you will let me all alone. And Mama was right. So when you see we are come, you better run, run, run. You better run, run, run. Yes, Mama was right. So when you see we are come, you better run, run, run. You better run, run, run. see, when you see we are called. When you see, when you see, when you see we are called. You better run, run, run. You better run, run, run.
You call that radio, radio, radio. More like a TV show, TV show, TV show. On almost every night, every night, every night. It's gonna be streaming live, streaming live, streaming live. You call that radio, radio, radio. More like a TV show, TV show, TV show. On almost every night, every night, every night. It's gonna be streaming live, streaming live, streaming live. You call that
If you don't really know what's going on, there's a show that also doesn't know what's going on. Call that radio TV. You call that radio. Call that radio TV. You call that radio TV.
As you call that radio TV, we are live in Paris with Marina P. And we're live in somewhere in Scotland, Tom, I'm assuming.
Yep, in Finiston, Glasgow.
In Finiston, amazing man. And what's let's just go back, way back to how Mungo's Hi-Fi began.
Yeah, so originally it was my friend Doug and myself that started Mungo's, and we were called the Dub Dentists before we got a sound system. We started collecting reggae and dub vinyl and playing in bars in Glasgow. And then we found some speakers in a skip and fixed them up and started building a sound. And I was also producing music, and we eventually decided to start our own label and release some of that music on the label.
Amazing stuff, man. And it's obviously Mungo's Hi-Fi are really well known, not just in Scotland but across the world. I was a massive fan.
Vous avez la connexion? Enlevez-la tout de suite, sinon je ne peux pas faire mon émission. Tout de suite. Tout de suite. Papa, il est où? Appelle-le.
But Tom, it's international now. Is basically what I'm saying anyway, because from the beginning of finding speakers in a skip, and also Mungo's Hi-Fi being named after. I mean, the Scottish thing I didn't even notice the first time I heard it, but obviously named after a Scottish school, Mungo's High.
That's right, yeah.
And it took me ages though. It's one of those ones. Like I noticed, my friend Michael Dempster. He said that it took him up to today to understand the Rolling Butter shop is named after a roll and butter. So, it can happen to the best of us. He's a doctor. But, it took me a wee while to figure out the Mungo's Hi-Fi thing. And so what was your first international break?
The first big break we had was through Mr. Scruff. And he heard one of the tunes off our first album with Brother Culture. And he put that on a compilation called Solid Steel on Ninja Tune. and they pressed, I don't know, 30,000 copies or something, and it went all around the world. And from that moment, we started getting invited to do gigs outside of Scotland.
Amazing, man. Mr. Scruff as well. He's still,
Yeah.
I mean, one of the hardest working people in music. We went to see him at Beat Herder. And I think he did a 9-hour set. It's like he does it every year. He's in the forest. He does 9 hours set. And I also remember when I went to see him at the Archies, he had some interesting merch decisions. Like he was selling Mr. Scruff oven gloves, and everyone was just jumping around the Archies dancing to the Mr. Scruff oven gloves. So yeah, man. I mean, that's an amazing way for it all to begin. And but I mean, what about how difficult is it, like, moving a sound system all across the world? Are you always taking your own sound systems, or are you, like, is it only when it's possible or feasible to do it?
It varies. So a lot of the time we're flying somewhere to DJ in a club on their own sound. But when we can, we try and book gigs with our sound system. Obviously, that's in Europe. We haven't taken it outside Europe yet. But yes, there's a real pleasure in playing on our own sound, because we know exactly how it is going to sound. We know it's going to be bassy and clear. So when we can, we do that.
Well, you know, we're actually talking about this on the Who Took Utopia show the other week. We're celebrating 5 years since Who Took Utopia, and a couple of band members mentioned that was their favourite gig, was playing in our band through your sound system at Knockengorrick. And I remember it was always quite like, there was a few different people were saying, oh, that wouldn't be designed for your kind of music and all that stuff, and so we weren't sure if it would work. But I mean, that was just a lot of nonsense. It worked absolutely brilliant, and you know, especially I think that the bass guitarists, we've had 2 bass guitarists that have played on that sound system, and each time they're like, yes, wow, it's just so much fun to play.
That's nice to hear. Yeah, we deliberately tried to build the sound so that it was flexible with what could get played on it. So, for example, we've run stages in Glastonbury and Eden and lots of places in Croatia as well, at the Outlook Festival. And there's always a wide range of people playing on it. So in Croatia, for example, there's a lot of dubstep and sometimes house and techno as well. So we wanted to have a sound that could take all of those different styles, you know.
Brilliant. And Marina just dropped off there. I think she's having some technical issues. But yeah, man, it's with I mean, obviously, without festivals, I mean, that's such a. I mean, you're touring all the time, whether it's festivals or clubs all around. And I know that you actually had were you booked to play the USA before lockdown began?
Yeah, that's right. We applied for a band visa, which is really expensive and a difficult process. And we applied for that in December, January, and it all started going through. And then lockdown happened, and we just lost the visa and all the money that it costs to apply for it. So yeah, we're hoping to get that sorted again, maybe next year, and get out to the US.
Is there just no comeback for it at all? Like, do they not?
No, it seems that way.
They just sort of shrug their shoulders and go, well.
Yeah, that's it. And I spoke to someone else, a friend who went through the same process as a DJ, and the same thing happened to him, where he applied, spent $1,000 on his visa, and wouldn't get any money back from it.
Oh, it's a nightmare, man. Absolute nightmare. But I understand that you still managed to play one of your gigs through technology, the wonders of technology.
Yeah, we pre-recorded a live stream that's due to go out in November in the States, well, everywhere, but it's going to be played in a nightclub in Denver with an actual crowd, and the video feed and the sound coming through the speakers. And yeah, that should be really good. It was with Eva Lazarus and Solo Banton on the mic.
Wow.
And a small studio audience as well. So it had a real vibe to it. So it's coming out in November.
Amazing. Oh, Marina's back.
I'm ready.
Hey.
Good to see
I'm
you back.
really sorry, guys.
That's all
The
right.
connection was totally shit. I'm sorry.
That's
It's okay.
okay. Don't worry about it at all. It's absolutely fine.
I thought you were
what-
putting your kids to bed.
Sorry?
I thought you were putting your kids to bed.
No, I'm sorry. No, I just sent them to bed because they were connecting something with their laptops. I don't know.
We've got, so let's just go to the comments. We've got evening trips from Petra. Hello, Petra. Alan says, evening folks, hope you're all well, and I don't blame you for being pissed off with Facebook for the way that you've been treated. Exactly the way Facebook has treated me is outrageous. So I'm not in the good books with them just now. They're not in the good books with me. I think it's the end of our Facebook live stream is naturally coming towards an end. So get us on YouTube or Twitch if you can. Brilliant tune. Talking about the last tune. That was Marina's choice. Francis Mary Harker says, loved that. Back to the roots. We've got Dave in the house.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Dave. He's saying an amazing album. It truly is. And it's called Soul Radio. Go and get it. Or go and stream it. We've got Saint Mungo, the patron saint of Glasgow. Correct that one.
Yep.
And Greasy, that sound system has progressed into a beast over the years. Mon the Mungos. And we've got Thomas Benjamin, big up Mungo's Hi-Fi and Marina P. Huge part of my listening over the last few years. Great live act. Saw Mungo's at Outlook, always sounding okay. Well, that's good, isn't it? It's okay, symbol, but I think it means better than that at all. What is how many times have you performed live together, Marina P and Mungo's Hi-Fi?
Quite a lot.
Yeah, and Marina, what's your favourite moment, your favourite live moment with playing with Mungo's Hi-Fi? Is there one gig where you went, that was special, I really enjoyed that gig?
I think it's the biggest I made with you guys in Paris with Charlie P last year or 2 years ago. It was really very nice, and there were TV recording us, so it was quite pressure, but it was very exciting as well.
Oh, amazing. So is that on, can you find that on YouTube if it was recorded, or?
I think so. It's the name of the festival. I don't remember the name of the festival, but I can find it.
It's the festival. The festival is called Rock on Seine.
Rock on Seine, exactly.
Yeah. And it's a big festival in the middle of Paris.
And I have a very personal, great memory as well of Knockengorok with the whole family, and that was amazing too.
Oh yes, Knockengorok is incredible. Yeah, I mean, I think that was the moment where, it felt real. The whole everything that was going on when just Knockengorok didn't happen. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've been doing. I mean, how many years has there been a Mungo's Hi-Fi stage? In fact, tell us a story about how you started doing a stage at Mungo's at Knockengorok. That's quite an interesting start.
Yeah, well, I think we've been playing there for 15 or 16 years, and I can't remember exactly how it started, but I remember in the early days the Sheeling tent that we now bring the sound to every year was a tiny little marquee that held about 30 people or 40 people, and we just had a couple of speakers, and it was kind of the side tent to the main stage. But yeah, it just gradually, the whole festival built over the years, and our sound system built, and we were able to start bringing more guest vocalists and other artists and other reggae DJs and so on. So yeah, it just built up over the years, and this year was the first time in probably 16 years that we didn't play there.
That's I know, man. It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
But obviously, it doesn't count. Anything you didn't do this year, it's still going to be 16 years in a row next year, because this year just didn't count. And if anyone asks me what age I am, I'm going with the same age as I was last year, because this year didn't count on any level. I've found some I've found some footage of where is it? This is the gig you were talking about, Marina. 2 seconds. So is this the one we'll be talking about? This.
That's the one.
Brilliant. Got a YouTube link as well of, I think it's maybe a kind of closer up version. It's oh yes, here we go.
Worries and troubles can't stop to
Let's just watch this. This looks good.
Troubles and worries. Since I wake up in the morning, worries and troubles can't stop to make a double look. I cannot hide this to myself, and sometimes I think I can lose my mental health. I never know if I choose well, and if my road is good or bad. My mama made me not to sell, and she gave me strength enough to go ahead, through these troubles and worries. Since I wake up in the morning, worries and troubles can't stop to make a double loop. And troubles and worries. Since I wake up in the morning, worries and troubles, I can't stop to make a double loop. What do I must do when my head is broken up in two, and when my eyelids don't wanna make a move? Well, I can find no one who talk to do. I'll waste my time, I'll waste my soul, but my feet keep going through this black hole of troubles and worries, troubles and worries, troubles and worries, on and on. I got to chase some troubles and worries, troubles and worries, troubles and worries, on and on. Don't let them take a lead out our way. No. Don't let them take a lead out our way. No way. Don't let them take a lead out our way. No. Don't let them break your lead out. You gotta chase them troubles in. I gotta chase them troubles and worries every day. In every way. We gotta chase them troubles in. Chase them troubles and worries every day. In every way. Champion, skanking.
Yes, people. You're looking beautiful tonight, Paris. You're looking beautiful tonight, people. I see ya from near and far.
Is that you, Daniel? Are you before me?
You call that radio?
Hello, yes, this is Dog.
As you call that, Radio TV, and we've got Mungo's Hi-Fi, Marina P in the house. If you've not heard the album yet, you should. You should go and stream it on YouTube or Spotify. Or if you actually want to support the artist, you go to mungoshifi.net or mungoshifi.bandcamp.com. And I believe there is still vinyl, Tom, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. We've got boxes of vinyl in our yard in Glasgow.
Amazing stuff. And it's Bandcamp's the best way to get that, so do that. And Marina, let's just talk a little bit about you for a second. So you came from Italy to Paris. What made you move to France? And what is the scene like in France for a singer? Oh, sorry, can you hear me, Marina? I was just talking about moving from Italy to France. What was that like? I don't know if she can hear me just now.
No.
No, I think there's a slight technical hitch there. Yeah, Tom, so let's go back to what not only are you touring as part of your job, but you're also putting on lots of cool nights. So let's talk about Walking Skank at the Berkeley Suite. How long's that been going for? And yeah, let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, we started Walking Skank about 7 years ago, and it kind of followed on from a night we were doing called Dub and Grub. We used to do in stereo, where we'd cook for about 100 people, and then at 10 o'clock move the tables and chairs and make a dance floor. So it was a kind of food and music night. And we ended up getting a bit fed up with the cooking side of it and going to the market first thing in the morning and so on. So we decided to start Walking Skank as a more like club-based, just about the music. And yeah, it was great. It was a really good opportunity to bring lots of people from around Europe and other parts of the world to Glasgow to play and showcase different artists and what they're up to. And then we passed it on to a young team about 2 years ago, and they've kind of taken it on.
The young team,
yeah,
the Spirals and Vixen Sound young team.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, same. They're both been doing amazing things, and it's good to see Vixen Sound now on BBC Radio 1 introducing.
Yeah, it's amazing. What a great job she's got there. Brilliant. And totally deserves it too.
Absolutely, man. It's I think just both Phoebe and Tom just sort of stick out as just people that are just been putting the work in, and a lot of people just sort of sit and wait about, and they're just going and doing things and traveling all around the world with their music as well. And yeah, man, it's amazing to see. And it's quite young as well. I mean, when was your first trip abroad? What age were you the first time you went abroad with your music?
Well, the first time we went away was probably around 2000, 2001. And we bought an old bus from a guy that lived, the Chiovna in Glasgow?
Yes, I do.
Street. Yeah. So the guy that owned that building, or that rented that building before Chiovna, was called Paul, and he had been a roadie for Wet Wet Wet. So we bought off him a 1973 bus and lots of old speakers and cables and stuff. And we drove the bus to Switzerland and Spain and did a couple of tours like that with the speakers in the back, slept on the speakers on the way, broke down countless times, but unforgettable experience still.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And with the Dub and Grub thing, did that kind of come back a little bit? Is that bar in Finiston that used to... Did they do a kind of Dub and Grub type pre-party for Walking Skank? Or have I imagined that?
No, that's right. They were for a while. Our friends Anders and the guys from Samson Sounds took on Dub and Grub, so they were doing running that until midnight, and then often folk were coming down to Walking Skank after that. But that's stopped now. They're focusing on their own music now.
And we've got Walking Skank was a highlight gig for me. It was a lot of fun. Absolutely. So if I was ever out on a Thursday night, man, it's always where I would go myself, or recommend people to go as well, just because you just never really knew. Like, you would have like a big you could have a big touring act or a local legend. You just didn't really know what you were going to get. And I just think Berkeley Suite's got a cool kind of vibe to it, that it's like almost like a secret, isn't it? It's like it doesn't really seem to exist unless you know you're going to a thing. Then it's not open every night, and it's just outside the city centre, or 2 seconds away from the city centre, but just outside it.
Yeah, that's right. And it always had a really, or has an open-minded vibe as well. And we like that because we're not just into like traditional old school reggae. We like ska and rocksteady and the older stuff, but also really new takes on it. And at Walk and Skank, you could get away with playing bits of everything. And some nights would be themed as dancehall, some would be ska, some would be like a bass music night. So it's great to be able to play all those different things.
Absolutely, Marina. I noticed that I was listening to your music earlier on. I was really enjoying your song I Got. And I noticed you've got your song Shufiti. As
yeah, sure.
Yeah, 1 million views. That's incredible. 1 million views for a song. Were you excited? Were you excited to finally reach 1 million views for one of your songs?
I don't know how it happened. It's my first million.
It's a brilliant tune. Marina, now that you can hear me again, I was asking you earlier on, because obviously you're from Italy and you moved to France. Was that because France had a better music scene at that time?
No, it was because of studying, and I had an Erasmus program to go study in France for 1 year.
Yeah.
And then I stayed, so it changes my life in some way.
And what is the music scene in France like?
For the dub scene and the reggae scene is very, very, there are lots of vitality and lots of amazing producers. So I came to this style as well in a very crazy way, just through friends and meeting friends and connections. And it was the right moment for the French scene, which is really, really, really interesting.
Brilliant stuff. And do you ever get to go back to Italy to play live gigs?
Yeah, sure. Everything is even more underground in Italy, but still, that's a real scene as well, with great producers and very good singers as well. But less than France. France is bigger anyway.
Yes, absolutely. And yes, what I was going to do is going to play a tune from Soul Radio again, because we're here to promote Soul Radio, the brand new album. And Tom, what's the track that sticks out for you, or the video that sticks out for you you'd like us to play?
I'd like to play The Beat Goes Ska. And can I waffle about it for 1 minute before you put it on?
Of course you can.
The idea behind this track was, so the first version I heard of it's been covered many times, but the version I heard was by jazz drummer Buddy Rich, who did a jazz version with his young daughter singing the vocal. And I remembered that from years ago and wanted to cover it. And obviously the lyrics are about things changing, but the beat goes on. So I wanted to make, the original idea was to have a ska version and then have Marina singing the chorus and then a guest MC from different decades talking about how the beat goes on. So someone from the 70s, 80s, 90s and 2000s and so on. So
that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, so we got the legend Dennis Al Capone to represent the 70s. And he was doing a gig in Glasgow and came to the studio and did his verse. And then Tipper Irie, who was huge in the 80s in UK reggae, and he did a kind of fast chat verse. But then realised I'd just run out of time in the track. It was already at 3.5 minutes and couldn't fit more MCs on it. So maybe we have to do a part 2 one day where we get, I don't know, General Levy or like a jungle MC for the 90s and a grime MC from the 2000s.
That'd be brilliant. Remix.
Yeah.
Remix. General Levy. Do you know General Levy?
Yeah, we worked for them a few times, yeah.
Oh my God, that's the name drop. The name drop.
You call that radio?
Brilliant stuff. Okay, so let's hear the tune, It's absolutely amazing, and I think like just before I play it as well, is I suppose that's the thing when you're doing reggae's all about sampling and putting a new twist on a classic track and stuff like that. So when you're working with something that well known, is there extra pressure, or does that just make it more exciting?
Yeah, you definitely want it to stand up against all the covers that have been there. But like you say, there's a real tradition in reggae for instrumentals to be redone and relicked over time. Like some tunes that were made in the 60s are still getting remade now with new versions. And it's kind of like a Caribbean tradition, I think, that of passing on songs through the generations. So yeah, obviously I wanted to do it justice.
But I think you certainly did, and let us know in the comments what you make of this absolute cracker.
Taking you down memory lane. Mr. DJ play it again and again. The beat goes on and on. Woo!
Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain. La-di-da-di-dee. La-di-da-di-da.
Do you hear that?
Cabbage was once all the rage,
Sing the song.
History has turned a page,
Yeah, yeah.
Bass became the quarantine, Sound system is still the king, And the beat goes on.
On and on.
The beat goes on. And the beat goes on. The beat goes on.
Yes, Mr. Capone, here walk one. I feel up the virgin, Pete and King. Demand the one double time up the thing. Speed up the talking, speed up the rhymer, and everybody just follow behind. That's how we did it in the 80s. That's how we change up MC business. Every DJ have a style we unique. And we used to write the rhythm complete. Write the version from beginning to end. Only for lyrics used to come from a pen. Lyrics we no borrow, no we no lend. To be a pirate, it was baby then. Then all of a sudden, the vibes had changed. The old damn thing just rearranged. It went from live band to digital style. That's why we so versatile.
Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain. La-di-da-di-dee. La-di-da-di-da. Roots rock turn into rubber-dub, The little girls still break the hearts, And man still keep on marching off the war. Electrically they watch the world, And the beat goes on.
Way down Jamaica way, where the music used to play. Big bad sound, through Coxon's downbeat, along with brother called Chuki. King Stitch at the control tower, showing music every hour and the hour. You create the Trojan, along with brother called Cuttings, great selector. And the brother called King Edward's a giant, along with the selector called True Lord Coming. Yeah, yeah, yeah. King Tubby's high fire would never tell you no lie. Along with brother called Leroy at the control tower. Great Leroy, make you jump for joy. Sounds of version, we play music from creation.
And the beat goes on.
On and on.
The beat goes on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the beat goes on. The beat goes on.
You hear that?
You call that radio? You call that radio TV? Below. call that radio TV.
This is You Call That Radio.
This is You Call That Radio. Lots of love. In fact, literally the word love 3 times here. Thomas Benjamin, lovely tune. Mark McInnes, lovely tune. And Petra Jolly, loving the tunes. So, literally a lot of love out there. And brilliant tune, says Alan. And Thomas was going back to Walking Skank. He says the Hempolix. It was, and he's correcting me, that means perfect. It means A-OK. A-OK, not OK, A-OK, it means perfect. What's your favourite Walking Skank gig, Tom?
One that I remember really well that was absolutely rammed to the rafters was Swindle and Flowdan. And they'd come up to record a video on the top of SWG3 we had our sound system set up on the roof, lots of smoke flares going off, and they did a video up there. So at the same time, we asked them to come in to do a gig at Walk and Skank, and it was just crazy.
Brilliant stuff, man. And I was going to ask as well about my favourites. We played your favourites. My favourite is it My Reminder?
Yeah.
Yes. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Now, the producer of that tune is Craig. He produces 2 rhythms on the album, and all the others are produced by Tom, compose it and arrange it and produce it. And the topics come from an Italian poet for kids. And I was inspired by that poetry about the everyday things and the things that you should not do, and the education to the kids and the importance of the education. And that song is about all that, culture and education, which are topics really that we find a lot in reggae music, and I'm happy to follow that heritage about culture and education and this kind of lyrics.
Absolutely, and it's good to hear some good advice for a change in music as well. So I'm going to play that in a little bit. So with regards to this one, so so you rearranged it, Tom. What was the process for you in this one? My Reminder.
This one was actually Craig from Mungo's who produced it. He did 2 of the tunes on the album. So that was produced by Craig.
So you just got to sit back and enjoy the finished product.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, we're going to play that just now, and I think it's a brilliant tune. And it's, I mean, like I said, they're all brilliant tunes. So I'm not just saying that. It's just been, I've really enjoyed listening to it and today especially, because I haven't heard it for a few weeks now, and it's the whole album's a belter.
Thanks, Robin.
There's so many things that we take for granted. So many things are taken for granted. When I was a kid, my teacher used to say, there's some things you do every day. When I was a kid, my teacher used to say, there's some things you do every day. You have to brush your teeth every day. You have to learn your lessons every day. You have to meditate every day. You have to set the table at midday. You have to get some rest every day. Take some time to daydream every day. You have to listen music every day. You have to grow with books and play. This is my reminder. This is my reminder. And if I remind you, you might remember. Don't take it for granted. And if you remind them, they might remember. Don't take it for granted. And if I remind you, you might remember. Don't take it for granted. For granted. For granted. When I was a kid, my teacher used to say, granted. No. There's so many things that we take for granted, plain everyday things. Too many things that we take for granted, every privilege. When I was a kid, my teacher used to say, there's some things you do every day. When I was a kid, my teacher used to say, there's some things you do every day. You have to brush your teeth every day. You have to learn your lessons every day. You have to meditate every day. You have to set the table at midday. You have to get some rest every day. Take some time to daydream every day. You have to listen music every day. You have to grow with books and play. This is my reminder. This is my reminder. And if I remind you, you might remember. Don't take it for granted. And if I remind them, they might remember. Don't take it for granted. And if I remind you, you might remember. Don't take it for granted. And if you remind them, they might remember. Don't take it for granted. For granted. For granted.
Brothers and sisters, may the peace that can only come from the one God be upon you. We are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us as people of conscience to lose our morale.
Powered by our patrons. I should call that radio with Mungo's Hi-Fi and Marina P. Brilliant tune there. My reminder, taken from Soul Radio, which is out now on Spotify, YouTube, and Bandcamp. If you're wanting to get your hands on some of that elusive vinyl. Just got to shout out to Randy, Gary, Kenny, Sparky, Suzanne for signing up to the Patreon this month. Couldn't do it without your support, appreciated. And the captain's asking, no, he's doing that annoying thing where there's a question mark because I've not answered quick enough. Did you not see there was a song on, Captain? What is it? Halloween of the Gyrowaves of Jackal Trades playing, no mentioned on the bill. I don't think they are. We weren't on the bill last time and we still managed to sneak ourselves on, but I don't think we will be. But you should all tune in anyway, because we've got Esperanza, Medicine Men, Root System, Becky Wallace, Creative Martyrs, Joe Jive and the Beehive 5, and Amelia Baylor. And we're going to be streaming live from Capture Works all day long, so that's next week. Do tune into that. But I'm just talking about, Soul Radio is one of the best albums of the year, so I was just wondering what, in your opinion, what your favourite album of the year is so far, Tom. Have you got any favourites?
I've been listening to some really different music to what I often do, and I'm really liking a singer called Aldous Harding at the moment. She's from New Zealand, and a lot of her tracks are just kind of acoustic guitar or really minimal instruments, and then just a beautiful, powerful voice on top. So Aldous Harding's one for me.
Amazing stuff. Marina, anything you've been listening to this year that's really stood out?
The latest album that I really liked is the album from Aluna, which is not reggae at all. It's more danceable music like this, and it's called Renaissance. She's an English girl based in the US now, and she used to play in a duo called Aluna George, and she's now released a solo album, which is amazing.
Oh, brilliant. I'll check that out. I think for me, it's either Soul Radio, Bob Villain, Bob Villain's album's great, and Billy No Mates. I'm really enjoying Billy No Mates as well. The captain won't be watching then if we're not playing. Well, don't watch. We'll play. We might play, we might not. The last time we weren't on the bill when we played, so you don't know. Fuck's sake, man. That guy sometimes. I was also wanting to ask you, what was I going to ask you? Documentary, right? So I never really get time to watch stuff. I'm always doing stuff, but I'm trying to give myself every night after the show. I'm just going to relax and watch a documentary. I don't want to start a TV series and it turns out it's shite and I've wasted too much time. So documentary, I mean, it could be about reggae or something like that, or it could just be about anything. Is there any good documentary that you would recommend that you've maybe seen this year or even before this year that just might be worth watching?
It's not exactly a documentary, but it's what do you call it? A biopic, and it's on Netflix. It's about James Brown. I think it's called Get On Up, and I thought it was amazing.
I have a good one as well on Netflix as well on Quincy Jones, an amazing one.
Oh
Quincy
yeah,
Jones, brilliant. Okay, I'm going to check this out. Okay, Quincy Jones documentary. Okay, I've got it typed up. That's what I'm going to do tonight. Just stop working. Tom, you always seem to be working. I mean, what have you been doing now? And you've just been giving back 80% of your week, probably, with the fact that you can't tour or run gigs.
Yeah.
So are you just enjoying some family time, or are you doing writing, recording? What's been happening?
Well, a bit of both, really. In like in the early summer when the kids were off school, I was having to spend a lot of time when they were at home, and I promised them I'd give them a shout out. Big up to Marina and Naya, my daughters. Yeah, but
big ups.
Apart from that, it's been a really creative time for me in the studio, partly because I haven't had to travel every other weekend and be away and come back late and be really knackered all the time. So I've had a really good creative patch in the studio, and I've been working on. We're planning to release a dub album next year, and I've been working with a lot of live instruments. There's a drummer called Horseman who's one of the best reggae drummers in Europe, if not the world, and I've got quite a few of his drum stems that I've been working with, and then playing the bass and guitar myself, and just getting to grips with kind of learning to mix live instruments more than my other tracks are often more electronic from the starting point, but it's been really nice working with live instruments.
Is this the first? How long has it been since you've actually had this relative calm to actually be creative in the studio?
About 15 years.
15?
Yeah. I mean, there's always been time, but it's just easier to be focused when you're not traveling and having to plan gigs and all the rest of it. Yeah, it's been really good.
Brilliant. Marina, what about yourself? Have you been with less live music? Has that given you more time for other things?
Yeah. I'm trying to go on myself in my education in music. I would like to try some producing on my own. It's a long work, but I want to try. I want to try to do 100% as well, not just vocals, but even a little bit of producing as well.
And what's the atmosphere like over in France just now? Just before we went live, you said that there's a curfew in France just now. So is it? So it's like 7 o'clock just now. So from 8 o'clock you can't leave the house.
So from 9 o'clock France time, you have to stay home.
Okay, and is everybody doing that? Is everybody sticking to the rules?
There are a few people that can go outside to work, or if they have some emergency. I mean, but I'm supposed to stay home until tomorrow 6, and I will. Trust me. But it's quite sad. It's quite sad. It's no bars, no drinks with friends, nothing at all.
And has it been like that for a while?
Oh, it's gonna long. It's gonna last for 6 weeks.
6 weeks. And is France had any live music over the summer? Did you do a bit of live music, or has it been quite strict? Yeah.
The summer was
live
quite
music came
cool.
back. Yeah.
But there are a few live sets just for people who will sit around the table, so it's very limited.
Yeah, so you've got to have. So is there outdoor music, but as long as everyone stayed in separate tables, kind of thing?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just not the same. I've noticed that there's been some gigs popping up down south. Like I know that a few people I know have been down in Bristol or Brighton or anything like that. Tom, have you been getting involved in anything like the socially distanced gigs down south, or you just wait until it comes back properly?
Yeah,
I'm quite waiting.
Yeah, just waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a few gigs in Bristol. I'm playing on Halloween. It's my first gig since March, and yeah, it's similar that kind of vibe. Tables of 4 or 6 outdoors. You have to book a table, but it's hard for the venues because the place we're playing is called High Rise Hub, and they usually have a capacity of 3,000, and at the moment they have to limit it to 250 outdoor seating areas.
Yeah, it's just not really viable for too long, is it, to continue that? Sorry for using the viable word actually. Actually, speaking of viable, the unviable collection of females from the Scottish music industry, hosted by Becky Wallace, will be taking over the show on Wednesday night. On Thursday night, we have the comedian Martin Miller, who's left Hamilton, Scotland, and he's now in Alabama, USA, taking his Scottish patter over there. There's some amazing viral videos he's done, very funny. And tomorrow. Becky Walsh is tomorrow. So we're going to wrap it up quite soon, man. We're just going to finish with one more tune. Can you agree on one other tune that we should maybe finish on that you're proud of from the album?
Maybe. I had very, very nice feedback from Searching My Soul,
I'm so glad
which
you
is
said
very
that.
calm song. You should listen on your sofa.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one for tonight.
I think. Are you going to agree with that, Tom? Are you going to?
I am. That was the one I was going to suggest as well.
Brilliant. I was going to say that as well. We're all agreed on that one, which is brilliant. Tom, my final question? What about you were going to remix the Gyro Babies? What happened to that? You sent me a clip. Is that ever getting done? Is that ever going to happen?
I'm just waiting for that fat check mark, and then I'll get started straight away.
Well, I can send you a really thin check, but I was really excited by the fact that you went, because that was actually quite a strange one for me, because we'd played on your stage, and then I think we'd been on STV, and then you contacted me and said, you want to remix? Can I remix? I was like, yes, oh my God, because I've obviously, I was before I think I'd met you properly, and I've obviously been a big fan of Mungo's Hi-Fi for years. So will it ever see the light of day? Do you think this could happen?
It will. I'm sure of it. I still really love the original tune, and I think I might have sent you a few kind of sketches of where I wanted to go with it. And the plan we had originally was to do an album called Free Tone, kind of a tribute to the two-tone ska idea, mixing Jamaican and UK connections. And one day I really want that album to come out, and when it does, your track will be on it.
Thank you. I'm excited for that. Marina, have you got anything coming out soon that you would like to promote? Is there any plans, anything in the future, or are you just waiting for things to get back to normal?
Yeah, there are a few releases that are going to come from Poland, a song with Radical Guru, which is a reggae artist, and from France with a guy called Wedding Dub, which is an active actor of the France dub scene. But no gigs.
No gigs, no. It's just so weird, isn't it? It's very strange, no gigs. But
It is.
But the party, what it's going to be a party when we can get back to it. So it's going to be worth the wait. One more tune says, Sky, did I miss the haircut episode? No, you didn't. Basically, what happened with the haircut is, right, so, Marina, we've not met before, but up until a couple of days ago, I had really long hair. And as part of a new music video, I've got a song coming out next week called Scottish Album of the Year, which is going to, I don't know, maybe raise a few eyebrows. But it's coming out, so I had a haircut as part of it, and we had a bonus episode of You Call That Radio that's going to... So that episode and the video are coming out, but it won't be for another week. Last night I wore a hat to pretend that I still had all my hair. I couldn't keep lying to yous. So yeah, I've had the haircut. I've ruined the surprise, but pretend you've not seen it, and you'll see it in the video next week, which will be out next week. Scottish Album of the Year by Jackal Trades, coming soon. And we're going to end just now with searching. Go and get Soul Radio. It's brilliant. It's out now on Spotify, YouTube. Oh, I've got full screen. Let's see it again, Tom.
Oh, right,
Let's see that vinyl. Let's see that vinyl. Soul Radio.
Crisp
Get
vinyl.
the vinyl. That's the vinyl if you go to Bandcamp. And thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. All the best, and we will see you soon. This is the last track of the evening. It's Mungo's Hi-Fi, Marina P, Searching, and it is amazing. Cheers, guys. All the best. See you soon.
Cheers, Mark.
As I'm watching so far, running so fast, and will I see and the same, to be blessed or to be blamed. Yes, I'm going ahead, got to know my way, but I can't pretend I will leave or stay, that I've already made a choice between my brain and my voice. Yeah. Too many days, too many nights, searching my soul, yeah. Which is the answer? I just don't know. I just don't know. No. How many days, how many sides, how many faces I have seen. Too many ways, too many signs, searching my soul. I've been searching my soul. Searching my soul, yeah, searching my soul. Whoa. Yes, I've been searching my soul, my soul, my soul, my soul, searching my soul, my soul, my soul. And I'm watching so far, running so fast. Or will I see and the same, to be blessed or to be blamed? Yes, I'm going ahead, but I can't pretend that I've already made a choice between my brain and my voice. Too many days, too many nights, searching my soul, yeah. Which is the answer? I just don't know. I just don't know. How many ways, how many sides, how many faces I have seen. How many days, how many nights, searching my soul. Yes, I've been searching my soul, my soul, my soul, my soul, my soul, my soul, my soul. Yes, I've been searching my soul, searching my soul, my soul. Which is the answer? I just don't know. I just don't know. How many ways, how many sides, how many faces I have seen? How many days, how many nights, searching my soul. Yes, I've been searching my soul, my soul, my soul, my soul, my soul, my soul, my soul. Yes, I've been searching my soul, searching my soul.
I got you. Ready? Yeah, he's 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yo, this is Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5 live and direct here in Glasgow, Scotland, and you call that radio?
Upon you, we are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow